Hi everyone, welcome back to the Midwest Stitches YouTube channel. My name is Danielle and this is my channel where I talk all about my crafting adventures. Today is Tuesday, April 22nd, and today I have so many flowers to show you. I'm so excited. I've kind of been on a crochet flower kick, trying to knock out the rest of the flowers that I need for my DK Hexi Flower Blanket, and I have a lot of them finished to show you. So let's jump right on in with all of the things that I've made over the last couple of weeks. So first up, social media. You can find all the links down below to my Ravelry pages, to my Instagram, Midwest.Stitches. That's where you can find me there. My Ravelry name, if you don't want to look down there, it's Midwest Stitches. You can follow me and it'll show you all my updates for my projects. Okay, so let's start with socks first, and then I'll jump into the flowers because there are so many of them. It's so exciting. All right, so first up, I finished these socks that I talked about the last time. So these are the ones that I was doing. I was doing the deep shadow heel. I don't know how well you can see. There's the shadow heel and there's the gusset. It's kind of hard to see with this yarn and the sunlight. But the yarns that I use for this are this one, and the main color are from Mandy's Makings, and then the toe, that is from Pumpkins and Wool, and I don't remember the name of it. I actually don't remember the name of any of these. Yeah, because the tags are long gone. But these are for Adrian. So for these I did 64 stitches, 2mm needles. I did 20 rounds for the cuff, and then I did 50 rounds for the leg. And then I started the deep shadow heel. That is a pattern slash technique by Yzilda Teague. She has a tutorial on her YouTube channel if you're curious about that. And yeah, it was pretty easy to do. There are no triple stitches. I know I talked about that the last time, that's kind of one of the things I was excited about. So there's no triple stitches, and the way that she constructs it with like because the second half is where you increase on some stitches so that you have stitches to decrease to make the gusset. It was really interesting. It was really easy to do. So I might do this again. I don't know. It just depends on how they fit for Adrian. They fit the blockers very nicely. Normally it's a little tight here, but they fit very nice. And for my gusset, for my increased stitches, basically it turned out to be the same amount of stitches that I do on a heel flap and gusset. So I got the same gusset length, I guess, or whatever you want to call it. But for the gusset length here, the amount of decreases, it is the same. So we'll see. We'll see if he likes the heel, how it fits. I wouldn't be opposed to doing it again. I do need to refine my technique though. So like this side, here's the shadow wraps. It's very nice looking. And then this other side, not so much. It's a little less tidy. So there's some work to be done. But again, this was my first time doing this particular method. So but overall, I'm very pleased with it. They were easy to do, and I got to use up some leftover yarn. These were all leftovers from my stash. Okay, so my next pair of socks that I have, I just finished these this morning. I just had to close up the toe and weave in the ends. But this is from Legacy Fiber Arts, and this is the Spark It Up Rolly colorway. This was the February Schitt's Creek colorway that they're doing. They're doing a year of Schitt's Creek, like a club. It's not one that you subscribe to. You have to go in and buy it every single month. So if you're interested in that, just beware. They do the pre-orders for it. I think it's the first 2 weeks of every month. So this was the February colorway. I'm actually going to get the April colorway here, I think next week sometime. It's in the mail. So anyway, here is the February colorway with the mini. And this was just so spring to me. I love it. And I loved the purple mini that they did for it. So look at those colors. Those just scream like flowers and grass and spring and just all of the fun things. So these are for me. These are knit on 2mm needles, 64 stitches. I do 8 rounds for the cuff, 4 rounds for the leg, then do my heel flap and gusset. And I never really mention this on my channel. I just always forget, but I do all of my socks on magic loop, whether they're DK, fingering weight, anything like that. I always do magic loop. I've tried 9-inch circulars. I've done DPNs before. 9-inch circulars, I just cannot get the hang of them. They make my hands cramp, and I think I just have, my hands are just too big, in my opinion. Like my fingers and my hands are just too big for 9-inch circulars, so I've just kind of like given up on that. Hope that I can use those for socks. We'll see if I get into like sweaters in the future. I might have to figure out something, because I know people use 9-inch circulars or an interchangeable set to make a circular to do the sleeves. So we're not there yet. I'm not into sweater making just yet. I want to be, but I have not taken the plunge. But anyway, so 9-inch circulars are a no-go for me. I've tried flexi flips. Same thing. I have a pair or a set. I never use them. I just can't figure out how to hold them to make socks. My brain just can't figure out a way to hold them and to make it comfortable, because the needle tips are so short. I think that's the problem with flexi flips as well as 9-inch circulars, is the needle tips are way too short for my hands. And I need, like, when I do magic loop, like the needle like kind of lays across my palm a little bit, the 5-inch, because there are 5-inch tips on the fixed, and I need that leverage on both hands to work with the needles, and that's just how I like it best. Anyway, DPNs, I've done DPNs before, and I just don't, like, I have them, but I don't use them to make things. I use them as like extra needles to like pick up the stitches on the gusset and things like that for the technique that I do. So I don't really use them for making things per se, but I have used them before. I have made socks with them. They're just not my favorite either. So I'm a magic loop girl, and I have finally accepted that. Anyway, I just thought I would share that, because I never mentioned that I do magic loop. I just always forget to say that. So anyway, these are done. This is out of my April box of yarn that I have picked out. So I'm down to my last 2 colorways. I'm not quite sure if I'm going to be able to knit both of them up, but I will give it my best shot. So there are those. Next, I want to show, before we get into the finished flowers and all that kind of stuff, I want to show you my finished dishcloth that I made. So I have finally reached the final stitch count for my pattern that I'm going to write up. I have the final stitch count. I did my last test on it, and so I'm going to get that written up. But anyway, I did a solid colored one. So this was the one, I think I showed this the last time, the Kanai one. So there's that, this version. And this time I did a solid version. And there you can see the intersections. I love this version so much. I love the 2-color version, don't get me wrong. But this one, because of the way they're constructed the same, but not. And I'm going to give both versions in the pattern so that you can get the same result. But anyway, so this one doesn't have the valleys where the intersections are. It's just flat. So this might be more your style if you didn't want those valleys where the stitches are picked up. And the back looks the same, but obviously it's one color. And so this is where you seam it together. This is the seam. So that's kind of the only, I mean, it lays pretty flat, but I don't really think it does anything to the function of it. But I love this. So this is 7 by 7. That's the gauge I got. with a, what did I use, a 3mm needle? I don't remember. It'll all be in the pattern, but that's what I did. And this is the conch colorway from Knit Picks Dishy. So I will definitely be making more solid ones in the future. I love it so much. So yeah, I will be writing this up hopefully here very soon now that I've finalized the size. And I think for the pattern, I'm going to include this size, which I would consider the dishcloth size, the coaster size, and then the bigger one that I made, which was, to me, more of a pot holder size. I will include all three of those, and then I will have the directions on how to do a solid color and then the 2-colored version. They're very, very similar. The instructions just differ basically on one part of the pattern for each section that you're doing. It's not super difficult. It just, you have to do one row a little bit differently to make it look nice. If you don't care about it looking nice, then you can do it however you want. But the whole reason I'm doing this pattern is because I care about the aesthetic and the fact that it's perfectly square. I did have one person comment on that about how the one you do from corner to corner and the elongated corner really bothers them too. So this one is going to be amazing for that, and having a perfectly square item when you're done. I love it. I just want to knit all the dishcloths now that I have this pattern to go off of, and that's really exciting because I have a lot of dishcloth yarn that needs to be used up. So there are those. Be on the lookout for the pattern. My plan is to write that up between this week and next week. I would like to release it. I want to release it sometime in May because I think obviously dishcloths are a good like summer pattern when things are hot outside. If it's hot where you live in the summer, which it is where I live in Nebraska. So this is definitely one of those things where it's small, it's portable, and it's just nice to have. And especially if you're a gift knitter and you're wanting to do something for gifts for Christmas or whatever might come up, it's good to have just something else in your back pocket to work on in the summertime. I mean, I'm all about the socks during summer because, you know, summer sock camp, and I love participating in that, but I still plan on working on other projects pretty much all the time. So there is that. Okay, now, are you guys ready for the stack of finished flowers? I cannot even tell you how amazing this is. Here it is. Look at that. So many finished flowers. Okay, so I'm just going to start and show them all. I don't remember all the color names, but I think I remember all the dyers. So I'm not really sure why I don't remember the color names. So here's one of them. This was from Granite State Yarns. I want to say it was like rain showers or something to that effect. So there's that one. And then this one was pumpkins and wool. And I don't remember the colorway name of that one. And then my favorite one so far that I've made, I think out of all of them, or second favorite, but it's self-striping. Look at that. This is Freckled Whimsy. This was a club colorway from like 2 years ago. I think it was a March colorway. I think it was called This Is My Lucky Yarn, maybe? But I love how each one of them, because it's self-striping, it looks like its own individual, like it looks like, you know, how you make like a granny square and you change colors every round. I love that. It looks so good. I can't wait to put that in my blanket. And then we have Stitchin' with Yarn. I do remember this one. This is called Suki's Wedding Day. I love that one. And then we have another Granite State Yarns one. You might remember the socks I made out of this. This was a one-of-a-kind skein. What was this? Chocolate mocha or raspberry mocha? I don't remember. something mocha. But love that. And then this is probably my favorite one so far, and I will tell you why. But I made socks out of this. I've already done the thing in my blanket. Like, I love this colorway so much. Like, the socks I made with this are like hands down like my favorite ones basically. But this is another Yarnable. And this is Mermazing. And I don't know how well you're going to see it, but this center one is made with sparkle yarn. So I don't know if you can see that or not. But I figured I had one. So when I was making all of my centers, the ones I had left, I ran out of yarn and I needed one more. So I had the sparkle yarn, which was from the Legacy Fiber Arts mini skein that came with one of my colorways. So I caked it up and I used it for this. And I thought Mermazing, the mermaid yarn, needed the sparkle yarn. So that's just a nice little touch that basically only I will ever see in the blanket. But it is kind of a, I want to say it's a gold stellina in here instead of silver, but I love that. And then my last one that I have, I just finished it today. So I've basically been doing one of these every 2 days. And it's working out really nice. So I do 3 hexagons a day. And I kind of break that up throughout the day. So I'm not doing them all at once because that would kill my arm. So I break it up throughout the day and it works out nice. And then every 2 days I have a finished flower. So I'm so close to getting these done. But here is the most current one I've made. I have to weave in the ends on these 3, but this is Mandy's Makings, and the colorway is called Harvest Sky. And it's this beautiful orange with some blue speckling throughout it. And I do have enough, obviously, left over to make some socks for myself, which I plan on doing this summer because this feels like a summer color. So that makes, that means I have 7 here. I can't even believe that. 7 done. And I have 2 back here somewhere that are already finished that I showed you before. So that means 9. So 9 out of the 16 are done. So I'm so close. I have 7 left to go. And then of course my 4 quarter flowers, which I don't think will take me any time at all. So at the pace that I'm going, in about 2-ish weeks or so, depending on, you know, things going on and all that kind of stuff, life, in about 2 weeks or so, I think I should have all the flowers done. And I did order my connecting color. I ordered more of that from Kimber's Cozy Creations. So that's being dyed up right now. It's like a 4 to 6 week turnaround for custom orders. So I expect to have my connecting colorway probably by the end of May, which will be perfect timing because I will have all of the flowers done. And then my plan is to start connecting them. Probably do like 1 or 2 hexagons a day. I'm not trying to rush it. I kind of did the math. If I stuck with doing 3 a day, even with the connecting color, I think I would have it done in like 3 months because there's like, I don't know, like 200 something hexagons that I have to crochet up to connect all of the rest of the flowers to finish the blanket. And then some half hexagons. But I think I'm just going to go with like 1 or 2 a day throughout the summer or throughout the rest of the year because my goal is to have this done by the end of November and see, you know, maybe by the beginning of November, see where I'm at with the blanket and how much I have left to connect. And then I can kind of do the math from there and see, okay, do I need to add in more per day that I'm working on, you know, to kind of reach that goal? Because I really, really want to, like, December 1st rolls around, Advent, Christmas, all that kind of stuff. I want to have that blanket done and just have that off of my plate because I think when Christmas rolls around, obviously I will have my DIY Advent that I'm swapping with a friend. And I think with all of those colors, I might be able to finish my Little Squares knitted blanket. It just kind of depends on how the rest of the year goes. But I think that's going to happen. I think the calendar that I'm swapping will actually get me the last 2 strips, or at least that's what I'm hoping. So, and so speaking of that, I have started another strip for my Little Squares knitted blanket. So I will show you that. And I am, I have, I think 7 colors in so far. So here's the bottom. Oh, that's the back. We'll show you the front. There is a right and a wrong side. So you can see I had leftovers from basically all of my flowers that I've put into this. And there we are. That was the little Suki's wedding from Stitch with Yarn. And so my Legacy Fiber Art socks, the ones that I just finished, I am going to add this yarns. So I have this. I'm going to add in first the purple, and then I will add in the main color. So that will give me 9 colors in here. And my strips are 12 colors long with the coordinating color in between. So there's a good chance that I will have this done, this strip done, at least the color blocks, the next time I record. And then I will add in the 2 borders on the sides and add the strip to my blanket. And this will actually make my 6th strip. So that makes my blanket halfway done, because I plan on doing it 12 strips wide. And I'm pretty confident that by the time Advent rolls around, December 1st, that I could have up to 10 strips completed and then do the last. That'd be so cool. That would be so awesome if I could finish my crochet hexi blanket in November, turn around in December and finish this blanket as well. That'd be so nice to have 2 blankets off the needles or hook. And then I will have 2 left. I will have my fingering weight hexi blanket, which I haven't talked about that in a while, but my plan for that one is to leave that one alone until next year, until January. So whenever these 2 blankets are done, because these are kind of the closest to being done, I'm going to finish them up one way or another. And when these are done, then I will pick up the fingering weight flower blanket and work on that. That one's going to take me a lot longer because I am using a much smaller hook, and that is a little bit harder on my wrist, so I don't think I'll be able to go at the same pace. And that one, I'm planning on making that one much, much bigger. It's going to be, a lot bigger than the DK one, because I'm using mini skeins, leftovers, and I only need roughly around 15 to 16 grams, somewhere in there, to make the petals. So I have a lot of yarn I could work with and leftovers to create those flowers and make it a lot bigger. So that's my plan. It will take me a lot longer to finish that one. My only work in progress that I'm currently have on the needles is a pair of socks, and I'm using this yarn. This is from Pumpkins and Wool. And I actually decided to cast on a pair of DK socks. This is fingering weight, but I am doing fingering weight held double. So I'm only a little bit into the leg that you can see, but I did 15 rounds for the cuff, and I think I'm going to do probably around 40 rounds for the leg. I'm trying to use up as much of this skein as I can, and I knit my DK socks, or at least these ones, on 2.75 millimeter needles. Something I've mentioned before, and I thought it was worth mentioning again for anyone that might be new to knitting socks, or maybe you've never done fingering weight held double for socks. My suggestion is to get a yarn gauge thing where you can measure the wraps per inch. I guess you don't really need that, but it is helpful. Anyway, the wraps per inch, I have a keychain that I bought from a local yarn store that has that on there, and then it has a line with all the yarn weights in case you lose the ball band or whatever. You can lay the yarn on there and it'll tell you what the yarn weight is approximately. So anyway, measuring the wraps per inch. All fingering weight yarns are not created equal. I know there's, you hear people talk on videos or patterns or whatever, and a lot of times they don't mention that, but this yarn is a thin fingering yarn. The Yarnable yarn, because it's an 85-15, it is much thicker of a fingering weight yarn. So when I hold that double, that gives me a worsted weight gauge. So when I do those socks held double, I make sure I up my needle size, my stitch count goes down, and they are worsted socks. They're much thicker than what these will be, or if I did a regular DK yarn that is a 75-25 superwash merino blend. And this is 75-25. But again, I just want to point out, just because not all 75-25 superwash merino yarns are the same gauge of yarn. So like Stitchin' with Yarn, for example, hers is a 75-25, but hers is actually a much plumper 75-25 than this is. So with hers, I would probably knit them at a worsted weight gauge if I held that yarn double for socks. So I just wanted to throw that out there because I've watched a lot of videos and seen patterns, and to me, it's not talked about enough how you really can't just, I mean, for like a blanket or something you're not wearing, or like something that doesn't really require a gauge necessarily, you can do that, and it doesn't matter what yarns you're holding double, you know what I mean? Like, but if you're wearing something and the fit matters, like a sock, I really think it's important to talk about that. So I just wanted to bring that up again. I know I brought it up probably about a year ago, maybe 6 months ago. I think I was making some socks and they turned out to be a worsted weight gauge. So anyway, when I do these ones or a DK yarn that's a 75-25, or these ones, I use a 2.75 millimeter needle. I use the Crazy Sock Ladies DK weight vanilla sock pattern that is free on Ravelry. And then if I use a yarn that gives me a worsted weight gauge, I use a 3.5 millimeter needle. And for most of them, because they're going to be adult socks, I cast on 40 stitches. So just a little information for you there. Okay, so my next pair of socks, I just wanted to show. I haven't cast them on yet, but this is from my April box. Just wanted to show you. This is what you'll see next time. This is Stormwatch from Yarnable. And I do have a flower already in my blanket made out of this. So that's going to be super exciting to get those knit up finally. I think I've had that color for like 3 or 4 years now. It's been in my stash forever. Only other project that I have that I'm not going to show you right now is my other crochet blanket. The like rainbow ripple sunburst, like the star blanket that I started. I worked on it just a little bit. I've added a couple of rounds, but I'm not really happy. I know I was excited about it, but I'm not really happy with how that blanket is made. And I think it's because I'm so used to, like, these are granny style. Actually, that one's not a good one to show you. These are granny style. So you always use the chain spaces, the spaces to work into. So I can do that pretty easily with the ripple one with the star blanket. You work into the tops of the stitches, and I'm finding that's a little bit harder to work. So I might frog that and use a different star blanket pattern, but I haven't done it yet. But I do have one in mind, so I think I might take one of the other colors, work up a sample, and see if I like the process better for that one, and then go from there. And then if I do, obviously I will show you the next time and update you on that. But yeah, I'm just not really feeling the construction of it. It's feeling kind of tedious to me, and it's not fun, and I'm not enjoying the process. So I don't know that I'm going to stick with it. I feel like it will look beautiful, and the new pattern I've found that creates a similar star blanket, I think it will look just as beautiful with the color palette I have picked out. But I think I will enjoy making that one more than this one. So, I don't know. That's just kind of my thoughts. Let me know your thoughts below. Have you done that pattern before? The rainbow ripple or something similar to that? And have you struggled with the process of it, or am I by myself on that one? I don't know. Maybe it's because I've been doing so many granny squares and like granny stitch style things. I've done like a rectangle blanket, I've done a square one, I've done this hexagon one. So I'm so used to that process. I think that's kind of what's tripping me up on that. I don't know. I'll update you the next time. I'll probably have something on that one. That is all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. If you like this video, hit the like button. And if you aren't subscribed to my channel, hit the subscribe button. And leave me a comment down below and let me know what you're working on. And I will see you guys next time. Take care and God bless. Bye.